Continuing on adding and subtracting with fractions, we have adding mixed fractions with like denominators. So for the warm-up, we just have a basic word problem. Rory has 1 7/12 candy bars. Then his best friend gives him 6 more pieces of candy bar. What fraction of candy bars does Rory have now? Well, if he started with 1 7/12, that implies that one candy bar has 12 pieces. So if I drew a candy bar, it would look something like this. You might draw 12 all in a row. You might draw 2 rows of 6. I like doing it this way. Alright, so we have one whole one. So that whole thing is filled in. And then we have 7/12. So I'd fill in 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he gives him 6 more pieces. And so that's pieces, so that's 12ths, 6/12. So I'm adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I need to add one more. I need one more piece. And since it's still part of a candy bar, it's still a 12th. I need to fill in the rest of my candy bar. Like so. So I have 2 whole candy bars and 1 12th. And if I show that with numbers, that's 1 7/12 plus 6/12. Well, 7 and 6 makes 13, but that is improper. So what we do is that's 12 out of 12, and then 13 minus that 12 out of 12 is 1/12 left over. So I'm going to add that 12 out of 12 to the one I already have, so now that's 2 and 1/12. So our objective is just adding fractions and mixed numbers to get mixed number answers in simplest form. An answer is not fully correct unless it is in simplest form and it is not an improper fraction. So when you're adding with mixed numbers, the first one's relatively easy. We have fifths. So if I draw fifths, just go ahead and section off 5 boxes, like so. And I have 2/5 first. 1, 2. And then I add 3/5. 1, 2, 3. Well, now the whole thing is filled in, so that means that I have 5 pieces, 5/5, which is the same as 1 whole, because the whole thing is filled in. And usually this is really easy for the kids to grasp. The most common question I have is, I don't have colors, how can I represent this without colors? And to that I say, I would just do 2/5 like this, and then add your 3/5 as like circles, and then you can see the difference. 3/8 and 7/8. Well, if I draw 8s, and I color in 3 of them, and then I add 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, ran out. So I need to get from 5 to 7, so I need 2 more. 1, 2. But those are still 8ths, because say it's pieces of a candy bar again, and they're the same size. It still takes 8 of them to make a candy bar. So that's 1 whole candy bar that we have filled in, and then 2 extra pieces. But that's 2/8, because it's not 2 whole other candy bars, it's 2/8 of a candy bar. So 1 and 2/8. But then we need to simplify 1 and 2/8. And I have a lot of students still struggling with simplifying. You're just finding a number that you can divide the top and bottom of the fraction by, a factor that they share, so that you can get it to its simplest form. And on a picture, you're just combining pieces. So that's, I know that these can both be divided by 2, because they're both even. It's a good place to start. 2 divided by 2 is, well, let me not forget my whole number first. Need the 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. And I can show that in my picture by splitting it into 4 pieces, and each has 2 smaller pieces in it because we divided by 2. And of our 4 pieces, 2, 3, 4, one of them is filled in. Okay, just remember the pieces have to be the same size, and they have to be, if it's colored in, it has to be fully colored in. If it's blank, it has to be fully blank. You can't have, like, an extra piece here. So my simplified answer is 1 1/4. Alright, now we have tenths. Tenths are much easier because they are related to decimals. So kids have an easier time with them, but it also can lead to confusion with other fractions because they'll notice a pattern. Well, first of all, let's see, we have 7 tenths. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need to add 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is still tenths, so it still needs to be 10 squares big. So we have 1 whole here, and then we have 6 tenths here. And of course we can simplify. They're both even, so we can divide by 2. Divide by 2. Anything that has 2 rows can be divided by 2 just by splitting it like this. As long as an even number is filled in. Anyway, 6 divided by 2, well, there's 3 columns filled in and 5 total columns, so 3/5. So that's 1 3/5. Okay. Now let's show that with numbers. So we had 7 pieces and we added 9 pieces. That led to a total of, well, here's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pieces. 16 tenths. 16 tenths is the same as 1 6 tenths because basically we're saying that this is 10 out of 10 and 6 out of 10. And 10 out of 10 is 1 whole and 6 tenths. And then you just simplify. And kids will notice, well, I can just take the 1 off. And that's true for tenths. That's what's so handy about having a decimal system that's based on tens. But it's not true for all types of fractions, which we'll see in the next one. So let's take a look at 7/15 and 11/15. Well, there's 7 pieces and 11 pieces. So if I add that together, that makes 18 pieces. So I have 18 15ths, which is more than 1. 1 would be 15 out of 15. So I have 15 out of 15 there. And then the extra is, well, 18 minus 15 is 3. 3/15 extra. So that is 1 whole and 3/15. And of course I would have to simplify that. But I didn't just pull the 1 off. I didn't do 1 8/15 because it's not, because that 1 it represents a 10. But to make a whole we need 15, not 10. So you have to pay attention to the bottom of the fraction. It's very important to your problem. And if you get lost, if you just draw a picture, it can help you get back on track. So here's a picture of 15ths. Oof. And we had 7 of them, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We added 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I notice that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. and one of them is filled in. So my simplified answer should be 1/5, 1 and 1/5. But let's go ahead and check it. 1 and 3 out of 15 divide by 3 equals 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. And I can show that with lines like this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one of them is filled in. So my fully simplified answer is 1 and 1/5. Okay, so here we have a whole number in the mix. So we have one whole. Let me go ahead and put that over here. And then we have 19 pieces out of 25 and 11 pieces out of 25. So 19 and 11 makes 30. But that's 30 out of 25. So I have a whole in here. So basically this is 1, and 25 out of 25 makes a whole. And then the extra 30 minus 25 is 5. So basically 1 and 1 makes 2. And 5/25. And then I would simplify that. So let's see it as a picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have one whole, so this whole thing is filled in. Then I have 19/25. So, well, this would be 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and I need to add 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that's 25ths, of course. Ooh, that's cutting it close. So I have 2 wholes here, and 5/25. Now 5 and 25 are both divisible by 5. So we get 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. And we can show that like this. 1 is filled in out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 2 and 1/5 after we simplify. Okay. I'm going to show a new method when we get to this one. So first of all, let's go ahead and do the typical. So we have 2 wholes. And then we have 7 pieces, and 7 pieces makes 14 pieces. But that's out of 8. And it takes 8 pieces to make a whole. So basically what we have is 2, we have 8 out of 8 in there. And if we take the 8 pieces away to make the whole, then that leaves 14 minus 8 is 6. So 2 and 1 is 3, and 6/8. If I draw that as a picture, well, let's see. There's 8. And then you have 2 holes, so let's draw another one of those. And then I have 7/8. So 7 is all but 1 filled in, so let's go ahead and do that. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to add. So that's 3 filled in completely, and then this one has 6 out of 8, which can be divided by 2 because they're both even. And you get 3 out of 4. And I can show that with lines like this. 1, 2, 3 are filled in out of 4. And another way to show this, because we're starting to get into having a lot of whole numbers. Another way to show this is, well, let's represent a whole as a circle. So we have 2 wholes, and then we have 7/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in this hole I would have 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's the same thing I have here. If I add another hole, another piece, so I have 7 already. If I add one piece, now this is a hole, and then I'm going to add, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 3 holes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tally marks can get to be easier to manage, especially for the next one. I'll show the tally marks first to hopefully sort that out. So we have 3 and 3/4 as our fully simplified answer. Okay, so next we have 1 and 7/10 plus 3 and 9/10. So I could draw the pictures, but that'd be a lot of pictures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do, well, tenths, a whole is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's one whole. I have one whole and 7/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I need to add 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, and 9/10. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/10. And I can simplify that. I can even show it on here. It can be divided by 2. It's 5, and 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. And I can split this up into pairs. Divide by 2, put them in pairs. And if I filled the whole thing up, then I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 more, so there'd be 2 more pairs. Okay, and I can show how that would split up on these as well. There's 1 pair, 2, 3, 4, 5. So fifths. So our answer is 5 and 3/5. Now let's show that with the numbers. 1 and 3 is 4. 7 pieces and 9 pieces is 16 pieces. So basically what I have here is I have 4, and I have, well, there's 10 out of 10 would make another whole. I have that definitely. And then 16 minus 10 is 6 left over. So 4 and 1 makes 5 and 6/10. And then we simplify. These tally marks, they become especially helpful later when we start subtracting. If you are more comfortable with pictures, please feel free to just do normal pictures with blocks. If you're comfortable just doing it with numbers, then just do it with the numbers. That's fine. So here we have 2 and 1 is 3. 7 pieces and 11 pieces is 18 pieces out of 15. Well, we have 3. We definitely have 15 out of 15 here. 18 minus 15 is 3 left over. So 3 plus a whole is 4 and 3/15. And then we will have to simplify. So I could have used my tally marks. I could have used a picture to figure this out. I could also, if I'm comfortable enough with the numbers up to this point, I can just use a picture to help me simplify. So let's see if I have a picture of 15s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 15 blocks, 5, 10, 15. And I have 3 of them. And then of course I have 4 holes, so I can't forget my 4 holes. And I split this like this, and I have 1 filled in out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3/15 divided by 1, 2, 3 pieces equals 1/5. 4 1/5. There's some extra practice in here. In most of the classes we don't actually get to do it together, but some of the kids who are working ahead, they do it, and that's perfectly fine. I'll just do one of them for one more example and then move on. So if I have 4 and 8, that makes 12. If I have 6 pieces and 7 pieces, that makes 13 pieces, but that's 13/8. So 13/8, well, I can definitely pull out 8 of them. And 13 minus 8 gives me 5 left over. Oops. 5 out of 8 left over. So that is 12 holes in one hole makes 13 holes, and 5/8. And 5/8 can't be simplified, so I just leave it at that. And there's 10 practice problems. Then there's this exit card. And the homework on the back.